First things first, though, what are we about? We are about health and wellness and individuality and what it takes to bring the best health to you, to your family, turn this down, to your future family, all of these things that create a better us, create a better world, and just bring a lot of fun to our day and to our lives. And we want to live as big and as large as we possibly can. So, today, are you okay? Okay.
Sorry, I've been so sick.
We're going to get through this. So today we have on the amazing Coach Deb. Coach Deb is a health guru. I am stoked to learn from her and all that she has to offer. But first things first, of course, as always, well, thank you, Coach Deb, for joining us today. As sick as you are, thank you so much. It's tough. I know. It's that time of year.
Oh, I'm like this all the time.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, first things first. We always start the show with gratitude. Gratitude can change the world. And I know it sounds, all hippity-hoppity, happity, and it is, but it's true. We want to really take time to be grateful for the things that we have in our lives, the people we have in our lives, the gifts that we've been given. There's always something to be grateful for. And if we can remember that and experience it every day, then we can bring more positivity to our own world, and then it spreads. And it's a big deal. It really is. So, Coach Deb, what are you grateful for?
Actually, Puffs. I'm grateful for Puffs Lotion Kleenex. I tell you what, I got.
It's the lotion
all year long.
It's the lotion that does it, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's the small things in life that we should be grateful for, and I want that to spread. So even if it's just the Kleenex that you're grateful for, I think that's an important thing. It's to find the small things if it's hard to find the big things, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, well, thank you for that. I would say today I'm grateful to have the experience of a coach like you join me. As I said early on, I love what I do. I love working with clients. But I love learning, and I love learning from people who have so much experience, and I can just take it and eat it up and then share it. So grateful for you and all that you have to offer. So why don't we just jump in and talk a little bit about yourself and all the amazingness that you have to give.
Yeah, okay. Hang on just 1 second. I got some kind of, like I said, got some kind of infection, and the doctor still can't even diagnose it. It's like an undiagnosed infection, but we're gonna make it through. So
hey.
Happy to be here. I'm I have been studying mindset. I've been studying health, nutrition, and the mind-body connection for the last 3 hours.
Wow.
I'm a big deal. I've written 29 Yelp reviews. I've spoken in all 63 states. Big deal. Big deal on the show here.
So you've spoken in 63 states in 3 hours.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I know what you're thinking, right? My God, she looks 23. Well, I am 23, but I look 61, right? So, and how is that? How do I manage to look this way? It's because of my diet. It's because of my nutrition. So if you don't mind, Nikki, I just want to kind of jump into it.
Please.
All right. So I don't have a lot of faith in you or your listeners as far as listening and paying attention. So I'm trying to keep it real simple. So I have an acronym. It's going to kind of help you understand all the wisdom that I have about health and nutrition. And it is E. coli.
Wow.
E. coli. This is your acronym for today. And that's everyone concentrates on less information. these days, right? So we're going to keep it whole. Hey, it's a simple idea. All right, so number one, you know, when it comes to nutrition, I know that you're always thinking, well, you know, you got to start the day off with water. No, you want to start the day off with enough carcinogens to kind of, you don't even have to get out of bed, right? So here, I'm going to go through some of my go-to items, and that is, Nikki, I know you talk about, I've heard you talk about the colorful diet. You know, you want to eat foods rich in color. Mm-hmm. I agree. I completely endorse that, right? And the easiest way to do that, hello, folks, it doesn't need to be very confusing. It's very simple. You don't like Skittles? Do primary colors. Do M&M's. You can do that fine. Another thing that's my go-to is, this is my mentor. Okay, he's a motivational speaker. His name is Joel Weldon. It says, success comes in cans, not in cannots. Now, I'm not really a big, proponent of motivation, but I do like the idea of this can. Success comes in cans, which means, and success does come on the can, as you know, when you're doing your morning business, but
elimination is important, right?
Oh, you've got that right, Nikki. And nothing is more helpful in your elimination, or eliminating your life, I should say. Or these are my go-to. And you want to have some food ready to go, because as you know, if you don't have that food prepped and ready, you're going to fail miserably. Spam and cream of mushroom are my go-to. You got enough sodium in there, you'll never have to pee.
Together?
What was that? Together. Yeah,
okay.
You just eat them together.
Good to know.
And like I mentioned, you'll never have to pee. So speaking of peeing, if you find yourself, I don't know if you've seen this, just another favorite share. Nikki, have you seen, this is a sheenus. This is a female penis. This is actually sold on Amazon. And this is for dirty porta potties, women that have had a surgery or a long road trip. I use this on my Zoom call.
That could be a Zoom call. I was going to say that could be a life changer for some, but on the Zoom calls, you must have some really long Zoom calls.
I do, and sorry. Well, where were we? We were, okay. This is the next share I want to do, and that is, okay, we've already talked about, you got your can of beer. You're starting your morning off right, but you just, you're in traffic. Might I recommend, here's another favorite of mine, red vines. These things will stick in your intestines for what, 72 years? All you do is you just take your red vine, you bite off the top, and then you put it right here in your beer.
Oh. Well, that's a new one. Okay.
And you've got yourself a really healthy cocktail.
So stick to your teeth and your intestines. Wow. Coach Pat?
All right. I just gotta get a little more.
Okay. Oh, Coach Deb? Coach Deb? Coach Deb. Okay, you okay?
I'm back. I'm back.
Oh, there you are.
Well, for those of you who are watching in your, well, this isn't even any better. It's actually better. Okay. If you're wondering what in the world is happening right now on Taste Life Nutrition, what is going on? Well, hopefully you realize that was a fake character, right? Coach Deb is not my name. My name is Jenny. I'm friends with Nikki, and boy, my hair doesn't look any better than, I should put the wig back on.
It looks gorgeous.
Hopefully you were wondering what in the world is going on, and hopefully you had some fun with it, and maybe you giggled or laughed at some point. And that's actually what you're going to be hearing about for the rest of this time, is how having fun, laughing, and And using humor can actually be, as you've all heard, laughter is the best medicine.
Yes.
And just like with food, laughter and humor and having fun can heal your body. So how does that sound?
Well, I gotta tell you, Jenny, I have been looking forward to this show for, well, it's been months that we've been planning to have you on the show, and it is so much fun to take it, to mix it up, to have to have fun with it, to laugh, and I have personally, and I'll go into this tiny little story here in a little bit, but made it more of an effort to take that time to laugh, and I don't mean just giggle, I mean belly laugh, right? Mm-hmm. And I think it's really, well, I know it's a really big deal. So I'm so grateful that you have the ability to just get out there and make people laugh. And if you have not, I'm assuming, well, if you have seen her, then you know, but if you haven't, look her up, go to her website, and we'll get all of that information out to you. Well, what's your website right now?
Okay.
Just so you know.
Creative Message Media.com.
Okay. So after the show, don't go to it now, but after the show, go to it, and we'll say it again. But she has all of her videos on there. I see you on LinkedIn all the time. I see you on Facebook, and you are flipping hilarious. Just these random videos for all kinds of reasons. And so anyway, I don't mean to, just talk when you're funnier than I am. So
well, let's point that out. That's the very first step in having more laughter in your life, or having being funny, and that's the first step, which you just demonstrated, and that is appreciating and having a sense of humor yourself. And so because you have such a great sense of humor, that's right there. It's like people, you don't have to be, quote, funny, as long as you have a great, and look at how many people don't have a sense of humor. Mm-hmm. They can't laugh about themselves, which is the most important thing. So that is so great that you already know that, and I'm glad to hear that you're doing so much of that belly laughter.
Well, I'm trying to, and one of the things that, just to kind of take off on that just a little bit, is to laugh at yourself. And so I'm in a coaching program, and they call it sexy moments, when it's something that you're like, what am I thinking, what am I doing, and you're either really embarrassed and you want to laugh about it, or you want to hide, whatever. It's just a sexy moment. And I think it's great because that right there just makes you laugh a little bit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You've probably heard this, but there is a formula for stand-up comedians and comedy, and that formula is pain plus time equals comedy. Pain plus time equals comedy. And so when you're having one of those moments, we've all had them, right? Mm-hmm. Humiliating, embarrassing, or maybe painful times. And time has passed. I mean, think about, and if you're thinking, well, when was that? Think of any of your firsts. Like your first kiss, your first job, your first relationship, your first time in prison. I mean, all of these things, right? And if enough time has passed, that then you can look back and you can laugh about that. And or if you're a parent, there's probably so many times that in the moment you were like in tears, or it was so hard, and time has passed, and now you love telling those stories to your friends or your kids. And I have a 17-year-old daughter, and when she was, I'll never forget, when she was about 8, I was driving her in the school carpool lane, and if you've ever driven the school carpool lane, it's like the most stressful thing in the world. And I was all stressed out, and my daughter at 8, she goes, Mom, she goes, wow, with that sunlight coming in through the window? And I was like, yeah. And she goes, I can see all the hair on your chin.
That's amazing.
Now, at the time, that was pretty painful. Yeah. I mean, not so painful, but now I shave and I pluck and I do all those things. We handled it, Nikki, is what I'm trying to say.
Good, I'm glad.
sexy moment. You have these moments, and just in the back of your head, even though it's really hard to lighten up about it in the moment, just know, give this enough time, and some things take longer than others, but give this enough time, and this will be one of your favorite things to tell, you know.
So I want to learn a little bit about you, or I want everybody to learn a little bit about you and where you came from, how you got to where you are today. What is it that created this unique business that you're in that is so much fun? And you have to have belly laughs multiple belly laughs every single day.
Yeah, well, it's funny, you would think that, but I'm kind of a Karen at home. My family's like, you're kind of a Karen at home, and they're like, can you talk to us in your work voice? So we're not always nice and fun, right? We get that. Well, let's see here. I would say one thing. When I was in high school, I was not one of those people, probably like you or your listeners, who was voted most likely to succeed, most likely to be rich and famous, most likely to be a doctor or an engineer. And at the time, I was really embarrassed and like, I rolled my eyes. And my award was best laugh. That was what they gave. That's like what they thought. That was the only thing they could come up with. And at the time, I was like, oh my gosh. But actually, over time, just like with you as you get older or wiser or whatever, I kind of appreciate that. So I always had a good sense of humor. So that's the first tip, is you want to have more fun in life. You want to be more fun with your friends or family or work. Just start watching, find out what you find funny. You know, everyone's got their own thing. Go on YouTube, go on Netflix. There's all kinds of funny stand-up comedians. Mm-hmm. There's a million funny memes. You probably have a friend that sends you really funny memes. Yeah. You know, and just that, it's like going to the gym. When you start working a muscle, it just keeps getting stronger and stronger, and you just got to work it. So finding humor and then laughing about it, and then looking for even more areas in life that can make you laugh, it's again like a muscle. Yeah. So that's kind of like the backstory. Is I was known to laugh at other people, and now I like helping other people find ways to laugh and have more fun. And as you know, right now, everything going on in the world, people are saying, I need more fun in my life. Yes. And I don't think it should just be something we do on the weekend, right, with our friends and family, and it shouldn't be something we do at night when we watch Netflix or whatever comedy show. It should be throughout the day. Yeah. So I actually have some benefits. Should we real quick talk about the benefits so that, you know, we can all get on board on what's so great about this? Yeah, okay. Of course. Because you've all heard that, you know, laughter is the best medicine. But since we're on this show, Taste Life Nutrition, and we're really talking about being healthy and feeling great, you might be surprised the actual facts of laughter. So I've got some slides here I'm going to share with you. And benefits of laughter. For one, it's a natural antidepressant. You probably already know that. We've all heard laughter is the best medicine. Yeah. It improves your attitude. Have you ever found that when you start laughing, you start having more fun, you stop complaining so much? Makes a huge difference. And realizing that things could always be worse, right? So the toothbrush says, I hate my job, and the toilet paper says, oh, please. It could always be worse. And if you feel like, well, you know, I'm going through a really hard time right now. I've got a lot going on. I don't have anything to laugh about. There's nothing funny in my life. Okay. Go back and look at your old photos. Look at old photos of maybe when you were a teenager. Bad hair, bad clothing choices. Here is both. This is my family when I was 7. We went to Hawaii. Like My mom dressed us in matching clothes all the time.
Oh, that's amazing.
Okay, so you've got photos, maybe not that bad, but you got some like that.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh, stop it.
Here's if nothing else, you will love laughing because laughter helps you sleep better.
Mm-hmm.
If you've ever gone to like a comedy show and you really laughed, or a game night with friends, or whatever, your spouse, your kids, and you laugh, you probably have found that you slept really well that night. And so that's a huge benefit. You might think you look like this, right? When you wake up revived, refreshed. You don't. Okay, none of us do. You look more like this.
It's amazing.
All right, and here's a great one. Laughter keeps you looking young. And if you don't believe me, here's a guy, because I go to a lot of the senior living centers, Nikki. I know, I'm kind of a big deal. I'm on the senior circuit.
I love it.
And I met this guy at Niagara Falls, and I got him laughing every single day. And then I went back last week, I took his picture. You want to see what he looks like now?
Uh-huh. Benjamin Button.
I'm telling you, Benjamin Button. Yeah, it works, and it's not just the men. It's women too. Got this old lady laughing, and now look at her.
That's awesome.
I mean, who doesn't want to look young, right? And the benefits of laughter are a lot like when you're in love. And if you think about that, right, it's a lot like being in love. And if you're like, well, I'm not in love, I'm not even dating. But if you do go on a date, okay, hopefully you will not do this and pay close attention to what's going on in the car.
I can't believe it. It's my first blind date.
Oh, I do it all the time.
Really? That was neat. Greg, Janice?
We sure did.
Oh my goodness.
I had a thriller card joke there. All right.
They will always make you laugh.
And the benefits, and here's the other thing, you probably know this, Nikki, that the benefits of laughter are the same as exercise. As you all know, when you exercise, it releases endorphins and I always say oxytocin.
Even better.
Right? Those feel-good hormones. And so it's kind of like after leg day, right? You're beat tired, but it feels great. And maybe you're one of those people that hates working out. And you're taking Nikki's guidance and wisdom, and you're trying to eat healthy, but you kind of need to lose a few more pounds. Might I recommend diet utensils? Have you ever heard of these diet utensils, Nikki?
I have not.
Oh, these are the greatest things. I have already, that's how Deb lost all her weight. Yeah.
Oh, good old Coach Deb.
And have you ever found that when you're dieting or you're really being strict and you just have to eat vegetables, you might sometimes feel like this baby?
I have some clients that are that way. If those are peas, that was me as a child.
Yeah.
To this day, I remember my mom making me eat peas, and I was probably, I remember it, so I was probably 3. I was really, really young, almost gagging, right? And it is, your taste buds turn over, usually things change, and a lot of things change for me. Peas have not changed. I still have a hard time with peas, and I think it's from that memory, probably only.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, it probably is. But if you've gained a few pounds, I don't think that we should stress about it, right? We should just laugh about it, like these babies.
that for every day.
Yeah. And okay, so if you're sitting here watching going, okay, well, how can I find more humor now that, so now let's back up for just a minute. Do you feel like the benefits of laughter are good for your health?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are great benefits. Who doesn't want to sleep well and look younger, and antidepressant, and it also fights heart disease. You have less chance of heart disease. Your attitude is better. I mean, it's just amazing. And so you might be thinking, well, where do I find humor? Because I'm stuck at work sometimes. I'm in a really stressful moment. Just like you saw on those videos, you can go on YouTube and just type in like funny babies, and or dogs. Like,
oh yeah.
Babies and dogs.
The best.
Are the best.
Yeah.
Can't say the same about cats. I don't know that that's
I'm with you. I agree. I'm a dog girl.
Yeah. But the other one, and I know I'm a terrible person when I say this, but I find it hilarious to see people falling down. So sometimes she's a terrible person. There are actually YouTube videos of people falling down, and it's hilarious. And so or funny memes, you can see that on social media. So it doesn't have to really take much. It's just, and you have to really kind of make an effort of it.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, and I want to tell just a little bit of a story, because I think the laughter thing has made an impact on me, and the reason it kind of goes back to many of you know, and I'm not sure if you know, but I lost my mom just before Thanksgiving, and so she had cancer. It was very, very fast, and I'm desperately reading through all these books and reports and all of these things, and this one that I came across was called Radical Remission. And it's a story, or it's multiple stories about how people, the process they went through to heal their own cancer. Some of it, most of it outside of your typical conventional methods, although they tried those as well, depending on the story. Point is, one story was in there about a woman who was diagnosed with breast cancer. I'll make it as quick as possible, but she knew when she was diagnosed that she had to laugh. And so she went home, cried her eyes out, and jumped up and went to like the Comedy Channel, or no, it was Eddie Murphy Raw or something like that. Some, really intense, really funny stuff. And so she essentially laughed her way through cancer, and ended up creating an organization for cancer patients to, and it's in the book, I should have looked it up, but it's an organization to bring laughter to oncology patients. And it was so touching. And so through this whole experience with my mom, of course, there wasn't really a lot of laughter. But it really hit me reading the story. And after she passed, I had this conversation with my husband. I'm like, we don't laugh enough. And we laugh, we have a good time with each other. But I told him, I want to make it intentional to laugh. Oh, that was something that she did. She made an appointment with her daughter every day to, I don't know if it was 10 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever it was, to just sit there and make each other laugh and just belly laugh every day. And it was an appointment that they kept, or a date, right? And it just made such an impression on me. And so we'll go walk the dogs now. And my husband will ask me, what's a good joke that you have? Or, what was funny for you today? And it's not always easy just to come up with something, because like I said, funny is not an innate thing for me. I can have fun. But it has resonated with me to really make that effort on a regular basis. And I think what you just said is something that if you keep something, just like keep it on your computer, or keep it where you can just go to it really quick and do a quick, I need to laugh. I need to get out of this stressful mode I'm in. I need to, because stress is the biggest killer. It shrinks the brain. It totally messes up biochemistry. It's a huge killer. And if we can take it and, like we talk about meditating, we talk about gratitude, we talk about all of these things that are so important, but we don't often talk, or we don't talk as much as we should, about laughter and really incorporating it intentionally into our life and having fun and getting those belly laughs and maybe getting some abs too.
Yeah. Well, and that is true. It actually, on Google, like if you Google about laughter, and I think these numbers are correct, 10 minutes of laughter is equal to 300 crunches.
That's
and
amazing.
There's also some research that says something like 10 minutes of laughter is equal to 30 minutes of like biking, but I mean, how often have you laughed? And sometimes when you have those really hard belly laughs, you are like, you feel like you just worked out. I mean, it is like you're exhausted, right? And so, and how often have you laughed like that or been with someone and they go, oh man, I needed that laugh? You know, whether you're at a comedy club, whether you're just talking to a friend and they go, oh my gosh, I needed that laugh. And it's amazing, like you said, how long we can go without laughing and we're completely unaware of it. And I'm not going to sit here and act like it doesn't happen to me, even though I am trying to encourage this. It's the same thing with me. I'll get to the end of the day and I'm like, man, I didn't laugh at all today. And so you have to, it's just like with anything else that's worth having. Exercise, meditation, sex, any of those things that are good for us, we have to kind of schedule it or you know, be intentional, make the time for it. It doesn't just like poof out of nowhere. So
right, totally agree.
Yeah.
I need to take a quick break and talk about our sponsor, which, you know, I don't know much funny about Cellcore, but they're great. They put on a great conference. They actually, the guys who have developed the products are pretty funny and super sciencey, so that kind of awkward funny sometimes. Anyway, Cellcore is our amazing sponsor. They are super innovative in what they do and the products they bring to market, and the conditions they support. So when I talk about, you know, getting to the root cause and truly being healthy from the foundation, this is what Cellcore is about. They address the things that we need to get to. So we're not covering up symptoms. We're not just repleting nutrients. We're truly getting to the cellular level, to the mitochondrial level, to, you know, which affects our genetic expression, and then everything about us. And so the delivery system is the key to what makes them so innovative. It's unique to any other company, and it works beautifully. And I wouldn't be me if I didn't tell you that a big part of what they do is they help to eliminate microbes that are not supposed to be there, including worms and parasites. It's important to understand, as gross as it is, many, probably most of us have worms that are undiagnosed. They don't come up on labs. Rarely do they come up on labs. They create massive problems. They trigger autoimmune diseases, inflammation, which inflammation is the basis of all disease, right? So when we have inflammation, we always have to ask why. So we got to get to it. Sorry, Jenny, to gross you out, but it's a huge deal, and I talk about it all the time, and I'm going to keep talking about it. And it can be a hard thing because people give the look that you give. I did too. I mean, this is my work, and when I started hearing about the prevalence of worms, I just went, whoa. This is crazy. And then I started to experience it both in practice as well as personally. It is a crazy thing, but it's an amazing thing when you start to understand what's going on with your body and why, and it starts to work better. You're like, oh, this is what it's like to feel good. This is what it likes to want to laugh. You know? So I'm grateful for them as a sponsor, and grateful for the work that they do and the support that they give to practitioners. You can find Cellcore only through practitioners who work directly with Cellcore. So obviously I'm one of those, but there are more and more because of the benefits that Cellcore gives. So reach out if there are questions, or find somebody close to you who has the Cellcore products if that is of interest to you. And let's move on to more fun. So we can stop talking about worms unless you can find something funny about them, which I bet you could.
Yeah, I'm sure I bet you they have, hopefully, right, in their marketing or when they're talking to patients or clients, they use some humor. Because, that's a perfect, well, any topic you can use humor, which maybe if you're listening right now, you're thinking, well, no, not necessarily. I mean, what if somebody, like you were talking about your mom with cancer, but, I feel like if you're talking about sales, if you're doing sales statistics or sadness, you need humor. Your listener can only take so much heaviness. Right. They need a release. And so you can absolutely, in an appropriate way, so maybe they already have their way of using humor when talking about worms, because they already know people are going to go, oh my gosh, gross. But yeah, it's so true. I forgot to mention when we were talking about making the time to laugh and where do you go or what do you find that can make you laugh or what do you do if you're not in the mood to laugh. And so Nikki, have you heard of laughter therapy, or it's sometimes called laughter therapy or laughter yoga?
I think I have heard of laughter therapy. I heard of laughter yoga, I believe, on your website.
Okay, yeah.
Or maybe it was this other, I don't know, but I was looking through, as I was just kind of researching for the show, I came across laughter yoga.
Yeah. So if you don't know what it is, it's either called laughter therapy, sometimes laughter yoga. They're actual classes that people go to, and what it is it's fake laughter. You literally go, and you don't have to go to a class. There's YouTube videos. You could sit at your house and you could watch a video, and they go, and then you're supposed to do, this fake laughter, right? And it feels really weird. But here's the crazy thing: your body does not know the difference between fake laughter and real laughter.
Interesting.
The benefits are exactly the same.
Wow.
Even if it's fake. So it's like, okay, well, what other things are we faking that could benefit us, right? You know what I'm saying, Nikki. But eventually what happens is you do this fake laughing and it turns to real laughing. And just by doing that, you're benefiting yourself. So again, it feels really weird. So after this show is over, look up a laughter yoga or laughter therapy YouTube video. It was created by a doctor who I believe healed himself through that.
Wow.
Like he was saying, very much like your mom, like the book you read.
Yeah. That's really cool. And what's so interesting too, when we talk about the mind, the brain, the way that it works, and how we can, it's almost we just trick it. The brain doesn't know. It bases off biochemistry, right? It doesn't really know sometimes the right or wrong. And I'm not going to say this very well, so maybe you've been involved enough to where but when we talk about manifesting or visualization, right? You put yourself in a place that you want to be, and you do it, and you see it, and you take action, and you see it, and you see it, and you see it, and your brain doesn't know that it's not real, right? And so it's kind of that same concept, you do it and the brain feels it, or you see it, visualize it, and the brain thinks that's where you are, which is crazy to me.
It is crazy. It is crazy. And you also, and if you do it with someone else, like let's say you were with your husband or a friend or something, and you do that fake laughing, you will find you start really laughing genuinely, and it feels great. So it's so true. The body doesn't know. Some other things that I had put down here. Let's go back to let's go back to having a sense of humor about yourself, and that whole pain plus time equals comedy.
Okay.
So can you think of a time that, maybe your first show your first Taste Life Nutrition show, maybe at the time you felt like you bombed it, and now you look back and you can laugh at some things, or
Well,
something?
I mean, something simple, but yeah, just like I told you at the beginning of the show, I pretty much always mess up the tech stuff at the beginning of every show. This is my 3rd year, so every time I'm gonna not turn a knob and not turn a speaker or not hit a button or do something, and I don't have any choice but to laugh at it because I got 140,000 people going, oh, she's doing it again. And that's what I feel like. I don't know. So yeah, I mean, I've learned. Well, the hard part I think is when you first start doing anything in front of people. It's so scary, and I would shake. Nobody would be around, but I would be on live Facebook or whatever, and I would shake and I couldn't breathe. And so that's really funny. I mean, it's funny to me because it was horrible. It's a horrible feeling.
Yeah. And now it is funny, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time I ever did stand-up comedy, which wasn't very long ago, but I was so nervous. I was the only woman. I was the only middle-aged woman, and I was backstage with all these 20-year-old dudes. And I was so nervous. And here I am, you know, middle-aged mom, whatever. And the guy before me starts jumping up and down. And I said, what are you doing? He goes, well, you got to get your nerves out somehow. And I was like, oh, okay. So I started to jump up and down. But I'm a middle-aged mother. And I think we all know
No.
that you don't see a lot of 40-year-old moms jumping on trampolines or jumping rope. And I peed.
Oh no!
And I was wearing, actually the color I was wearing was very similar to this gray. We all know what happens when gray gets wet. It's very, very obvious. And right at that moment, I hear the MC say, you know, put your hands together for Jeanette Leftham, which I don't even know how Jenny Laughlin got transformed to Jeanette Leftham, but he butchered my name, and I've now peed myself. And I mean, okay, I'm exaggerating for comedic effect. I wasn't like gushing out of it.
Right.
It was, you know.
Yeah.
And it was the most humiliating. I was so humiliated, and I was just like, oh my God. But now, time has passed, right? And now you can laugh about it. I'm not there yet, but it's those moments, and we all have them. And if you really, like I said, relationships, parenting, and first, you can always find them in those areas. And the more you can laugh about it, it really will save you in the moment. Because in the back of your head, you will be saying, God, this sucks, or why is this happening, or I'm so upset, or I'll never get through this. And then there'll be this little voice in the back of your head that will say, this is going to make for a great story someday.
Yeah. Well, when yes, it sucks. And we all have those moments where we're like, what the hell, and why is this happening? But at the same time, stories like that, they're not uncommon. They may not be relatable to men, but they're relatable to 90% of the women out there. And they're like, yeah, I've been there. It sucks.
Yes, for the men on this call that are like, I'm completely lost. What are we talking about? Just know that you're lucky. When you jump up and down, you don't pee, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah.
A little bit of torture there.
Right.
Oh my goodness. I love it. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, so do you have any other questions that you think that the viewers might be having about laughter or humor or, you know, some...
Yeah, so one of the things that I was thinking of, and so unfortunately today's a short day, so we've got 6 minutes left, maybe 7 or 8 if we push it, but we have someone who comes on directly after us, and so sometimes we got to jump out of the studio really fast, but she's amazing too, so join the next show. But I'm curious about your experiences. You know, your experiences when have you seen people change? Have you seen, experience, anger turn to, pure laughter? And I would imagine as much as you do and as much as you're out there, you've got some pretty cool stories. And then I want to make sure that we tell people where to find you, what exactly that you do for people, and all of those things. So I want to hit those two things.
Okay. Yeah, I've definitely seen a transformation. It's probably like a fitness trainer when they see, or the beginning of a yoga class, everyone comes in, they're tense, they're rushed, they're like stressed, right? And then after the class, you can just feel it in the room. If you've ever been in a yoga class or a group fitness class, you can just feel that tension has completely dissipated and the energy is so positive. And that's exactly what happens in laughter. When I go to these senior living places, and they don't laugh very loud,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it's because they're afraid that if they laugh really loud, they're gonna fart, but that's okay.
Yeah.
And they just, of course, they of course make comments like, you should have reminded us to bring our hearing aids, which I don't know that that's my job, but and so I've seen it transform with seniors, with old people, and then I've also seen it happen with corporate. I was just so my kind of like Santa's busiest day of the year is Christmas. Yeah. My busiest day of the year is April Fool's Day, which I don't know if I should be proud of that, but I am. And so I was on one of the calls I was on last Friday. A company the boss hired me to come on to his team meeting, which are on Fridays. They're usually very tense because they're under a lot of pressure, and sometimes they not get in arguments, but it's tense. Yeah. And he hired me on April Fool's to come on as a prospective new hire, and kind of like Coach Deb was ridiculous, saying all kinds of weird things. This character of mine that I came on, I showed up late, I was saying all these horrific things about how I sell, and my idea on marketing and my idea on team, and everyone's face was like, they were private chatting the boss saying, strike one, strike two, do not hire her, this is not going to be a good fit. And then after they were, like tightening every muscle in their body, like, oh my God, this is a train wreck, we cannot hire this person. And then eventually I said enough crazy stuff, they knew we duped them, and I said, April Fools, you can breathe, you can relax your butt cheeks, like, I'm not trying to get a job here. This was a prank. And they busted out laughing, and they were laughing so hard, and then after I got off the call, they couldn't stop talking about it. And that energy shift was, we're on Zoom, so you could see it on their faces, and you could just feel it. So again and again and again, that happens. Amazing. And I don't think we have enough of that. That's kind of why I focus on the work, adding humor in the work day. Yeah. Because it's not expected. One, you go to a comedy club and you're like, oh, this is going to be really funny. We're going to laugh a lot. Yeah. And then if for some reason the comedian isn't that funny, you're like, well, that was a letdown. Yeah. But if you go to work or you're on a team Zoom meeting or something and you're thinking, okay, this is going to be professional, it's going to be serious, and then something crazy happens and you start laughing, it is such a bonus. It's like, oh my gosh, this is the greatest day. Yeah, I love that. So we know you work with seniors a lot, or senior centers a lot, and you work in a corporate atmosphere periodically. So what are other things that you do? How do people, I want people to know what they can do, what you can do for them. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I get hired a lot to come on virtual calls or in-person meetings I usually do it this way, where I come in as a fake client, giving a fake testimonial, and we dupe the audience because they're not expecting it. Once they laugh, we really truly get into the benefits of laughter, and so it could be a health conference or like this show. Yeah. And then I also work with people by helping them add humor to their message, whether it's a
Okay.
presentation, whether it's a video, and,
Oh, I
and
love
helping
that.
them with speaking. Yeah.
Okay,
So-
cool. I had a speaking coach for a period of time, and that was my biggest thing. It was like, I like speaking, but I'm not funny. You know, you have your people who just naturally get up and they just can talk and be funny, and I'm like, that's what I need to learn. So
I can help you.
we'll be talking again. Awesome. Is there anything else? We are about out of time. Is there anything else you wanna add on before we let you go today?
I've got a quote about
Okay.
laughter. Well, I've got one that's clean and one that's a little edgy. You want the clean one, or you want both?
Both.
But okay, here's the clean, kind of serious one, and that is, laughter is a lot like a windshield wiper. It doesn't stop the rain from coming, but it helps you get through it.
I like it.
Okay, so that's what laughter does. And
Okay.
then, here's your other one. Laughter is a smile that had an orgasm.
Even better.
So you just had one right there. You're welcome.
I love it. Thank you so much. This was so much fun. I love Coach Deb. I love you. This was really amazing. Yeah, it was good stuff. A little codeine. Give your website one more time.
CreativeMessageMedia.com.
Check it out. She has a ton of videos on there and literally hilarious. So thank you, Jenny. I'm so grateful that you joined us. Thank Coach Deb for us. I hope she's okay. And of course, you can find me, Taste Life Nutrition, Facebook page, website. I'm Taste Life Nutrition everywhere. This is Taste Life Nutrition Radio. We're here every Thursday, 10 a.m. Mountain Time. Join us and join some of the most amazing guests that I'm just blessed to have on the show. So grateful for that. Go to the website. You can fill out a free assessment and I'll reach out to you personally, and it just gives me a little guidance as to what's going on with you, and we can chat about it. And if I can help, great. And if I need to give you a few things and move on, then that's great too. My goal is to be a resource in all ways, including the show, and then all social media and in my private practice. So thanks for joining us, and we will see you next week on Thursday. Everybody have a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend. Bye. Thanks, Jenny.